Hello everyone, this is Srikant Konganti. I have been working as a botany lecturer since 9 years. I have completed my postgraduate in Kakatiya University. Present I am working as botany NEET faculty in social welfare residential institution. I am going to introduce my new YouTube channel. The channel name is NEET Srikant. In this channel, I am going to deal NEET classes in a simple and easy way. So please watch my YouTube channel. Let us start the today's topic.
Today we are going to discuss about structure of polynucleotide chain. So what about nucleic acids? How many of nucleic acids are there? Nucleic acids are two types. First one is DNA and second one is RNA. All are we know that. Nucleic acids are two types. First one is DNA and second one is RNA. So you can observe the both type of nucleic acids, either DNA and RNA, both are built by three major chemical components. How many chemical components? Three components. First one is nitrogenous base. What is the first one? Nucleic acids. What are that? Nucleic acids are two types. First one is DNA and second one is RNA. The both nucleic acids are made up of with three chemical components. First one is nitrogenous base and second one is pentose sugar. What is that? Pentose sugar. And third one is phosphate group. How many chemical components are present in the DNA and RNA? The nucleic acids have three chemical components, made up of with three chemical components. First one is nitrogenous base, second one pentose sugar, and third one is a phosphate group. First of all, we are going to discuss about the nitrogenous base. What is that? Nitrogenous base. Then, for example, this is a nitrogenous base. And what is the second one? Pentose sugar. What is the second one? Pentose sugar. Pentose. So, how many carbons are there in the sugar? 5 carbons. Pentose sugar is nothing but the sugar which is have the 5 carbons. Pentose sugar. So, for example, this is a pentose sugar. So here this is the nitrogenous base and this one is a pentose sugar. How many carbons are there here? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is a 5. How many carbons are present in this sugar? 5. So that's why it is called pentose sugar. So you can observe the nitrogen base and pentose sugar. These both nitrogen base and pentose sugars are bind with a bond. The bond is called as, what is the type of bond name? Anybody? N-glycosidic bond. N-glycosidic bond. Okay? Are you clear about this one? You can observe the nitrogen base and pentose sugar. The pentose sugar is have the bond with nitrogen base. Between the nitrogen base and pentose sugar, what is the bond is there? The bond name is N-glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond. This is the very most important in the NEET examination. What is the bond between the pentose sugar and nitrogen base? N-glycosidic bond. N-glycosidic bond. Nitrogen base plus pentose sugar. Nitrogen base plus pentose sugar is equal, what is that? Nucleoside. That word is called as nucleoside. Are you clear about the nucleoside? What is nucleoside? When the nitrogen base and sugar is connect with the N-glycosidic bond. Now that is called nucleoside. That is called nucleoside. Here, like this, nitrogen base plus pentose sugar are called nucleoside. Both are bond with N-glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond. It is clear. Now you can observe the third one. What is the third one? Phosphate group. What is that? Phosphate group. Here, for example, here I am draw the phosphate group. Okay. Now you can observe the phosphate group. The phosphate group always, the pentose sugar always bind with the phosphate group. So you can observe the pentose sugar and phosphate. The pentose sugar and phosphate is going to bind by a bond. The bond name is here phosphodiester bond. The bond name is phosphodiester bond. Diester bond. Between the phosphate and pentose sugar, a bond is there. The bond is called phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. Okay, between the phosphate and pentose sugar, the phosphate group is always attached with the pentose sugar at the place of the fifth carbon. The bond is called as phosphodiester bond. Between the phosphate group and pentose sugar, a bond is there, that is called phosphodiester bond. This is also very, very most important. Nitrogen base plus pentose sugar plus phosphate group. Phosphate group is equal nucleotide. Is equal nucleotide.
So here pentose sugar is there. They have 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first carbon position of the pentose sugar is going to bind with the nitrogen base, either purine or pyrimidine. So between the pentose sugar and nitrogen base, a bond is there, that is called N-glycosidic bond. And fifth position of the pentose sugar is going to bind with the bond with the phosphate. So the phosphate is going to attach at the fifth carbon position of the pentose sugar, and that bond is called phosphodiester bond. Here also one phosphate is there. That phosphate is going to attach with the 2 sugars. One sugar at the position of the third carbon and another sugar at the position of the fifth carbon. So one phosphate is going to make a bond with the 2 sugars. So between the phosphate and pentose sugar, but the bond is nothing but phosphodiester bond. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. Sugar and phosphate are make the backbone of the polynucleotide chain of DNA.
Nitrogen base is bind with the sugar with the help of N-glycosidic bond, and the pentose sugar is bind with the phosphate with the help of phosphodiester bond. That completely called as, the total structure is now called as nucleotide. Nucleotide. So what is the difference between the nucleoside and nucleotide? The nucleoside is having nitrogen base and sugar. The bond is called N-glycosidic bond. Now you can add the phosphate group to the nucleoside with the help of phosphodiester bond. Now that is converted like nucleotide. Now that is called as nucleotide.
Now we are going to discuss about the nitrogen bases. Nitrogenous bases. Here I am writing nitrogenous bases. Generally, nitrogen bases are 2 types. How many nitrogen bases are there? 2 types. First one is purine. And second one is pyrimidine. What are that? Nitrogen bases are 2 types. First one is a purine, and what is the second one? Pyrimidine. So purine is have the 2 rings. Double ring structure. Purine is having double ring structure, whether pyrimidine is having only 1 ring structure, single ring structure. It is have only 1 ring structure, pyrimidine, and purine is having double ring structure. For example, you can observe the purine, they have benzene-like structure and also have the imidazole-like structure. Benzene-like structure and imidazole type of structure. You can have whatever. We are going to discuss about the nitrogenous bases. How many nitrogenous bases are there? Two types. First one is a purine, and what is the second one? Pyrimidine. So purine is having double ring structure. Pyrimidine is having single ring structure. You can observe the graph diagram of the purine. How many structures are there here? Two ring structures are there. One is like appears like benzene. Another one is imidazole. So how many ring structures are present in the purine? Double ring structure. And you can observe the pyrimidine. Only benzene ring-like structure is there. Only benzene ring-like structure is there. So how many rings are there?
One ring.
In the structure of the pyrimidine, they have only single ring structure. Have single ring structure. Then what about the purines? In the nucleic acids, we have two type of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. In the nucleic acid, we have only two type of purines are there. How many number of purines are there? Two number of purines are there. Here, the first one is adenine. What is the first one? Adenine. And second one is guanine. What is the second one? Guanine. First one is adenine. And second one is guanine. It is clear. How many number of purines are there? Two are there. First one is adenine and second one is guanine. So purines are have how many rings? In their structure? Two rings. Double ring structure. Adenine have double ring structure. Guanine is also have double ring structure. It is clear. Okay, now discuss about the pyrimidines. How many? First one is what is the first one? Cytosine. What is the first one? Cytosine. And second one? Thymine. And third one is uracil. What is the third one? Uracil. How many number of pyrimidines are there? Pyrimidines are three types. First one is cytosine, second one thymine, and third one is uracil. So here you can observe the cytosine. The cytosine is present in both type of nucleic acids. In the DNA, cytosine is there, and RNA also have the cytosine. Both the nucleic acids have the cytosine. Whether you can observe the thymine only present in the DNA. Thymine only present in the DNA. And uracil, you can observe the uracil in RNA. Uracil is present in the RNA. Instead of thymine, the RNA is have the uracil. Instead of thymine, the RNA does not have the thymine. Instead of thymine, they have the uracil. Okay. What is the other chemical name of the thymine? 5-methyl uracil. What is that? 5-methyl uracil. Okay. So how many number of the pyrimidines are there? There are three types. One is the cytosine. It is present in both DNA and RNA. And thymine only present in the DNA. And the uracil only present in the RNA. Instead of thymine, the uracil is present in the RNA. These nitrogen bases, purine and pyrimidine always bind with hydrogen bonds. Okay, between the purine and pyrimidine, which type of bonds are there? Hydrogen bonds are there. What are the bonds are there? Hydrogen. For example, you can observe a purine. The purine name is adenine. The adenine always bind with thymine. You can observe the DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. The purine is nothing but adenine, always bind with thymine. Thymine is belongs to pyrimidine. Adenine is belongs to purine. That means one purine always bind with pyrimidine. Pyrimidine always bind with purine. Not two purines are going point. Okay here. For example, you can take the adenine. That is always bind with thymine. Thymine always bind with adenine. Between the adenine and thymine, what are they? Two hydrogen bonds are there. Very, very important. Between the adenine and thymine, how many hydrogen bonds are there? Two hydrogen bonds are there. Now you can observe the guanine is always bind with cytosine. Guanine is always bind with cytosine. Between guanine and cytosine, how many bonds are there? Three hydrogen bonds are there. How many hydrogen bonds are there? Three hydrogen bonds. The guanine always bind with cytosine, or cytosine always bind with guanine. Between guanine and cytosine, how many hydrogen bonds are there? Three hydrogen bonds are there. Now here, adenine bind with thymine, guanine bind with cytosine. Okay? So this type of bonding is nothing but complementary base sequence. That is called as complementary base pairing. Complementary base pairing. Adenine bind with thymine, guanine bind with cytosine. It is called as complementary base pairing. And the complementary base pairing is discovered by Chargaff. Who is the scientist name? Chargaff. That's why the rule is called as the Chargaff rule. The rule is called as, what is the rule? Adenine bind with thymine. Between adenine and thymine, two hydrogen bonds are there. And guanine bind with cytosine. Between guanine and cytosine, three hydrogen bonds are there. So that rule was first introduced by Chargaff. That's why the complementary base pairing rule is nothing but Chargaff rule. Now we are going to discuss about structure of DNA. Structure of DNA. Already we know what is DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. What is the sugar present in the DNA? Deoxyribonucleic sugar. Deoxyribonucleic sugar. At the second place of the carbon of the sugar, there is no oxygen. So that's why it is called deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, already we know the discovery of DNA. So DNA is the nucleic acid. DNA is the nucleic acid, and the nucleic acid was first discovered by Frederick Miescher. Who is that? Frederick Miescher in the year of 1869. Who was first to discover the nucleic acids? The nucleic acid was first discovered by Frederick Miescher in the year of 1869. So he was a scientist, research on the nucleus, okay, and the nucleus is having a acidic nature material. He was discovered the acidic nature material present in the nucleus. Frederick Miescher in the year of 1869 was going to observe the nucleus, and he observed, yes, the nucleus is having a acidic nature substance. Now the acidic nature substance, based on the Miescher, he was going to call as nucleic. That is going to call as nucleic. Nucleic acids are initially called as nucleic by the which scientist? The scientist name is Frederick Miescher. Who is the next scientist name? Wilkins. Who is that? Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin are going to do the research on genetic material DNA. The research name is X-ray diffraction. X-ray diffraction. After Rosalind Franklin and Wilkins, next scientist name Watson. Who is that? Watson and Crick. Already we know the names. Watson and Crick. Watson and Crick was going to demonstrate the double helix structure of the DNA. Who was going to propose the double helix structure of the DNA? So you can observe the majority of the organisms like human beings and plants. The DNA is having double helix structure. Double helix structure. This is called double helix structure. The DNA double helix structure was proposed by Watson and Crick. Proposed by Watson and Crick in the year of 1953. In the year of 1953, the scientists are going to demonstrate the chemical nature, chemical structure of the DNA. Understood? And Watson and Crick was going to regarded with the Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize. Understood this one? Okay, now here what happened? Then what is the structure of the double helix manner of DNA? Already we know the structure of polynucleotide chain. So in the polynucleotide chain, what are the components present? Three components are there. Nitrogen base components present in the nucleotide. Nitrogen base, pentose sugar, phosphate, commonly called as nucleotide. How many nucleotides are present? Only one nucleotide present in the DNA.
No, sir.
You can observe the DNA or RNA also. In the DNA and RNA, only one nucleotide is there.
No, sir.
No, sir.
This is called one nucleotide. This is another one. So how many are there? Many number of nucleotides are present in the DNA.
Yes, sir.
So that's why that is called polynucleotide chains.
Bunch of
DNA and RNA are collectively called as
Polynucleotide
chains. This is the one polynucleotide chain and this is another. How many polynucleotide chains are present in the double-stranded DNA? The double-stranded DNA is having two polynucleotide chains. See, two polynucleotide chains arranged like anti-parallel manner. Anti-parallel manner. Why? Because one polynucleotide chain starts with 5 prime and ends with 3 prime. Another polynucleotide chain is starts with 3 prime and ends with 5 prime. Like this, 5 prime, 3 prime. So that arrangement is called anti-parallel manner. It is clear. Now I am asking a question: why it is called 5 prime end and why it is called 3 prime end? Listen. What about this one? This is a 5 prime end and this is about 3 prime end. So you can observe the pentose sugar. Have the pentose sugar. Have the 5 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. Pentose sugar. At the position of the 5th carbon, they bond with the phosphate group. Now these phosphate which is present at the 5th carbon, the phosphate does not bind with another nucleotide. Here another nucleotide is there here? No, there is no question of binding of another nucleotide at the phosphate of the 5th carbon. But you can observe this phosphate. The phosphate is attached with this nucleotide and also bind with this nucleotide. Here the 5th position of the phosphate does not bind with another nucleotide here. So free phosphate is there. Where the free phosphate is there? Where the free phosphate is there? 5th position of the sugar. That's why the polar side is called 5 prime end. That is called 5 prime end. Are you clear about what is 5 prime end? You can observe the pentose sugar 5th carbon. They have the phosphate group. Now the phosphate group does not attach with the another nucleotide. So here free phosphate is there. That's why it is called 5 prime end. Okay. Now you can observe this side. Okay. Here pentose sugar is there. And carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons are there. At the position of 3rd carbon. At the position of 3rd carbon, free hydroxyl group is there. OH group. Free OH group is there. Hydroxyl group is there. That OH group here, OH group is there. 3rd carbon. That is binding with phosphate. Here OH group is there, but that does not bind with the another phosphate, another nucleotide. Free OH group is there at the 3rd position. That's why it is called 3 prime end. This is called 3 prime end. Here it is also same. Free OH group is present at the 3rd position. That's why it is called 3 prime end. And free phosphate is present at the 50th position. That's why it is called 5 prime end. It is clear. Okay. This is called polarization of DNA. Polarization of DNA. Strands distance. Double helix have the 2 polynucleotide strands. Between the 2 strands, what is the distance? 20 angstroms. 20 angstroms or 2 nanometers. What is the difference between the 2 strands of the DNA? 20 angstroms are also 2 nanometers. And you can observe the distance between the 2 coils of the DNA. 2 coils of the DNA, that is nearly 34 angstroms. Nearly 34 angstroms, that is also 3.4 nanometers. 3.4 nanometers. Are you understood the diameters of the DNA? The two strands distance is nothing but 20 angstroms or also 22 nanometers. Between the two coils of the DNA, the length is known as 34 angstroms or also called 3.4 nanometer. 3.4 nanometer. And each coil is having nearly 10 base pairs. Is having 10 base pairs, nearly 10 base pairs. These are two polynucleotide chains. These are the nucleotides or nitrogen bases. Nitrogen base pairs. Nitrogen base pairs. So between the two nitrogen base pairs, what is the distance is there? 0.34 nanometers. 0.34 nanometers. Between two nitrogen bases, the distance is nothing but 0.34 nanometers. 0.34 nanometers. Guanine always bind with cytosine, and between the guanine and cytosine 3 hydrogen bonds are there, and adenine always bind with thymine. Between the adenine and thymine 2 hydrogen bonds are there, and that sequence is called complementary base pair sequence, and the sequence was first introduced by Chargaff. That's why the rule is called as Chargaff rule. The complementary base pairing of DNA was introduced by Chargaff. Thank you for watching. Please support me. Please do subscribe, like and share.